Hey Leo, I'm going to do your twin flame reading for June 2022. I'm going to be using two different decks. One is Twin Flames and Separation Messages, and the author of the deck is Ruda Dave PhD, so you can see that right there. I got these off Amazon, two different decks by the same person, and it says Live Tarot on the front of the deck, so I don't know if that's just the name of the company itself. And then I'm also using just a regular Twin Flame Oracle deck, which is basically more personalized messages for the runner or the chaser, whichever part you're playing in this dynamic. Same, just different messages. So I'm going to do 3 cards from each deck. This is for Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and any other placement that you want to add it to in regards to your astrology chart. Leo, even though this is the energies for Leo, understand that we are much more than just a sign, much more than just a number. We are that and then some. This is just a part of our aspect. That's why we can identify, much of us can identify with Leo or Gemini. I'm a Gemini sun, but you're much more than just those signs. It just makes a certain part of your personality. Numerology can be descriptive of, like, who you are, or a part or a version of who you are. There's many different things, so just don't limit. Basically what I'm saying is don't limit yourself to just one sign. Many people that don't know astrology still go by just the sun sign and have no idea. And I've tried to explain this concept to a lot of other people. That's why you want to check all of your placements. And if you want a more accurate description in regards to astrology, make sure you do a natal birth chart, and you can look those up, or you can get those professionally done from me. I have software programmed to do that, as well as numerology charts, etc. And all that information will be in the description box, as well as if you want a personal reading or anything like that. I also have all that information in the description box. I do appreciate your likes, shares, and subscribes, and comments, and if this resonates with you, please comment, etc. Let me know. I am a twin flame as well, and I used to be basically the chaser, so now I've basically integrated the lessons, and I'm just I guess just here, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not the runner, the chaser, nothing. Whatever happens. I've learned to surrender and let go of this process, and it's no longer a factor. To me, I see the twin flame journey as a catalyst for usually the more spiritually evolved, basically for both, but the more spiritually evolved twin that is awake and aware of everything. I don't necessarily believe or know or hope or anything that I will get together. I just know that it's been a privilege to meet my twin flame in this lifetime. And back in 2012, they basically used to call it twin flame ascension. So if you look up articles on Google or whatever, and you type in twin flame articles, put like a dash 2012, you'll find different types of interpretations for them, because that's when my process started. Basically, I started going through the physical changes of ascension between 09 and 09, 010, and on up after that. But I met the twin flame, like, I think summer of 2012, or at least one. To me, I'm still, and a lot of people, this might throw you off, but some of the articles that I read back in the day, and videos, they basically said that you could have, I mean, if you look at it's like, most of you are familiar with the number 144, and the way they described it was 144, and it was basically times 12, so it was 12 soul groups times 144,000, I guess is how that is. I may be confused with the retrograde and stuff, but it was basically 12 soul groups, and then there was a male and female counterpart in each one of those, times 12. and it equals to 144,000. But each one of them, like if you met one of those, they were all considered near twins. So soulmates, near twins, however you want to do it. And then the closer you got to your soulmates, your twin flames, like the very, the main one, according to this article. And I mean, it was drawn out like this person had channeled the information. So at that time it felt very, it was very unique because it was something I hadn't seen before. And it was very detailed. And I wish I still had that article, but I don't know, maybe one of you can find it. But anyway, it just talked about several near twins, and for me, the twin flame is, I don't know if it's really exactly the other half, because now I've learned to embody both energies, feminine and masculine, and for the most part in balance. But I've always been more the feminine energies. Like I incarnated into a family of women. Always had issues with the masculine energies. Most all the masculine energies were abusive towards me or didn't like me for some reason, even though I'm in a male body. And I'm definitely into women in regards to what I'm attracted to in regards to that. But as far as what I mean is polarity, masculine and feminine. So I'm undecided in regards to everything that I believe, but I do know that I'm on this journey. The more spiritually evolved, the more awakened twin, and I'm still learning. But I'm at basically the process of surrender, and whatever happens, happens. I'm no longer chasing. I'm no longer really desiring. I'm just here. So I decided to do these readings to help other people out. And if you there is a video from Twins Astrology, and I've been saying this in all my twin flame videos. It talks about a 9-year cycle that began in 2012, and this is around the time that these certain like the ones that are on my timeline met their twins, and then they went through the bubble love phase, which is also known, if you look at the narcissist and empath situation or situationship or archetype. If you look at that, that kind of resembles the same thing, because one would be awake, one would be a dark, one would be in their ego, one would be in their higher self. And so the thing with what narcissists do to empaths is they do the whole love bombing thing, so it can mirror that too. And a lot of people will say, well, a twin flame relationship will have no abuse or anything like that. Well, I can tell you this. I can tell you a lot of these indigo born twins, which were natural warriors, they actually are meant to be like that. So they incarnate in families where they are tough because the whole, tough, or they go through a lot of abuse because they, as healers, we need to know how to basically come back from everything. So basically you incarnate into a family that is pure hell just so that you can, climb out of it, you know what I mean, and rise and raise in frequency. So anyway, the video, 9-year cycle, it ended with this last lunar eclipse in Scorpio, which we had in May. So I had, the woman was saying a lot of twins would get back together or come into union at that time, and I did have something significant happen to me recently that involves all this, which I'm not going to say what, but just be on the lookout if it resonates for you. If this is something that you've seen or experienced, just know that there's a good chance they may come back. It doesn't mean that they've evolved. It doesn't mean they've changed. But they could be, starting to awaken to the connection. So let's see what your messages are, Leo. And sorry for the long talk. What I'll do is just consider that part the intro, and what I'll do is I will timestamp the actual reading, which is starting now. So what does Leo's twin want to say to them at this time? What does Leo's twin flame want to say to them at this time? It's easier being with someone from my world. So, they can feel like that, because it's, twin flames are mirrors, they're catalysts, they're reflections to one another. So you could come in with the most love and everything else the best vibration, the highest possible vibration to your twin, and they will still, if they have work to do, they can't exist in your reality or your presence very long, because you will mirror back to them everything that they are trying not to deal with. So it's not your fault, it's just the way it works, and that's why many never merge or fully merge or come back into union. I mean, you basically merge if you met your twin in the beginning and you went through the whole bubble love phase and you were intimate or sexual with them, you pretty much merge chakra systems. So, and that's a connection that just cannot die no matter what you do. But I will say that it does get easier, because once you integrate all that within yourself, you get to the point where, yeah, you might still think about them, and you might sometimes reminisce and wish, but it gets easier. Just like you learn to live on your own, and it stops being so painful, because you realize that you're not really apart. It's not about always being physically together. Sometimes, especially the unevolved twin, if they come in as a catalyst, it's just about pushing you where you need to be. And then maybe later they join you, maybe they don't. But it's just like, if you've ever seen stories and stuff like that where they talk about, how God is like hands off. That's basically what it is. You're learning basically, how to be God in a way, like how to love unconditionally without trying to control the situation, or how to love yourself unconditionally. Because if you don't love yourself and you enter into a twin flame relationship or soulmate or anything, and your lesson is like mine, which is unrequited love in this lifetime, no one will love you, no one will ever give you what you would give. And that's because you're meant to give it to yourself. So if you're going through that like I am, and I have a Leo rising, so I kind of understand in a lot of ways. Seems I get more envy and hate and negative things than I do, or at least I did until I started taking my energy, pulling my energy back and giving it to myself where it should have belonged in the first place. So what else does Leo's twin flame want them to know at this time? What does Leo's twin flame want them to know at this time? Can you let go of the past and forgive me? Can you trust me again with your heart? I don't know. That's a good question. Can you? I mean, me personally, I can honestly say I would have to see a tremendous change in my counterpart before I ever was able to do that. And I mean, it would have to be something of biblical proportions, because I had, one of the darkest experiences that, maybe not to the rest of you, but some of you others may not have been like mine, but, darkness leads to the light, so it definitely did that. What else does Leo's twin flame want to tell them at this time for June 2022? What else does Leo's twin flame want them to know at this time for June 2022? I couldn't go against my family to be with you. So, that's one thing that always really enraged me, because I was willing to do anything and everything, me personally. And I'm sure most of the spiritually evolved twins or the chaser twins that played that role, if you haven't already shifted like me, it's awful to love someone or have that type of love for them, and they reject you because no one wants y'all to be together. It's one of the worst things that anyone can experience, because you feel like you don't deserve it. You've met this, you've always wanted this type of relationship, you've dreamed about it, you knew something was out there for you, and then their family turns them against you, or they're in a situation where the family, it's like a past life situation where the family has arranged marriages, and you are forbidden, like a forbidden love, or some crazy stuff like that. And I mean, I guess if the other twin is seeking the approval of the family, and that's all they've ever wanted, I guess I can understand that. Um, I don't have so much judgment on that now because I know my life turned out the way it was supposed to. And yes, it hurt in the beginning, and it put me in many dark nights of the soul, and a lot of head games being played, making you think that you were going to have a chance, giving you hope only to take it away from you, But it makes you so much stronger, and what doesn't kill you, right? So it does. It just makes you, like me, it just made me my greatest version many, many times over. And it takes away a lot of the, it instills a humbleness in you, and basically you go through many different ego deaths. And anybody that has Leo placements in their chart that goes through an ego death, I don't know if I've ever seen very many Leos without an ego. So for Leos to go through an ego death and become the greatest version, spiritual ascension, all that, and still be able to push on, that's an accomplishment. And I don't mean anything bad about that Leo. I'm just saying, I've dated Leos myself. There's nothing wrong with you. Some of you do have some toxic egos, but I mean, a lot of people do. I mean, I did. Like I said, I got a Leo rising, so I've got a little bit of that. But the toxic ego, or the toxic feminine ego, masculine ego, it's not the greatest thing to have, because it will, especially the ones that and I had this as well, the confidence but not really confident, like you're projecting this fake confidence out into the world, and you have convinced yourself, and I see this everywhere I go, like there's a girl that works in a store around where I live, and she's got that masculine ego, and it's ridiculous. It's like, an example of this would be like, I could go in a store, and I'm someone that does stuff in routine, so I'll get many times I get the same stuff, the same stuff, and it's just like a vice. I like certain things, and I go in there, and that's the whole part of the process, is getting what you want. It's being able to choose and buy that, and then walking out, with what you wanted. And the last thing you want to do is, someone goes in the store and wants to be judged. And I've even asked other people this, but the people with those types of egos, it's like they're in on a joke that nobody else is. And it's like they've got this idea of who you are because you buy the same stuff, and to the point they'll even have the stuff ready for you. Not so much as me, but I've seen other people say that, where they think they know what you're going to get, so they have it ready for you, only for you to tell them, no, I'm not into that today. And then they're like, oh, looking stupid, So when you've got that type of ego, and it's basically a mask for all the underlying insecurity that exists within you, and it sounds like cocky and overconfident, to me, I think that is the most ugliest trait anyone could have. And it's not real. It's falsified. It's fake. And I'm not, saying this to disrespect anyone that may be watching this video. It's not about that. I'm just giving you an example of what that is. And even if you don't recognize that within yourself, Leo, if you don't recognize it within yourself, you've definitely seen that in other people, and you probably thought the same thing. But for someone to judge you, and that's usually where a lot of the judgment comes from. It's like those people think they're special, or they convince themselves that they're special, and they're so insecure underneath that they've convinced themselves that they're better than other people, and it's either narcissism or borderline narcissism. And so they just look at you like, like this dude buys the same thing and blah blah blah, or just whatever it is. It doesn't even have to be you buying whatever the same thing. What difference does it make? Your only job is to work at this store and serve me. You're in the business of service. I'm not supposed to feel like I'm an idiot when I come in here. I'm not supposed to feel less than when I come in this store. I'm supposed to leave with a motherfucking smile. Excuse my language, with a smile. Hope I don't mess up my views. But, that's the type of world we live in, and it's ridiculous. And I've seen that within my twin. I've seen that within other people, to have that type of that arrogance and that cockiness, and it comes from a very dark place. So anyway, let me pull these other 3 cards with you. I'm just giving you examples of egos, and it's basically all relevant because it's all the twin flame stuff. It's all about the twin flame journey. So, all right. So, what other messages does Leo need to know in regards to twin flame journey? What are the messages for Leo's twin flame journey at this time? What are the messages for Leo's twin flame journey at this time? Community. Friendship, fun, light heart, enjoy downtime with friends and family. And that's basically all you can do. If you're waiting on someone, and really I'm telling you, don't wait. Live your life like you're, live your life like you, in a way, never met them if you can, That's what you got to do. You just got to do you and not worry about anything. And if they don't ever get to the place of where they're in alignment with you, then it's not going to work. It's just going to be the same repeated thing. And the thing about Leos is y'all are fixed signs. So for the ones of you that are able to actually evolve past the fixed mentality or the fixed energy, it's great. But sometimes you can't, especially Leo moons, like they have that issue too. So it can be hard because you can stay fixed or fixated or have an inability to change. I know teachers that are fixed, fixed mentalities, and they never really change. Like they're not willing to learn from anyone else or anything else, and it's kind of ridiculous sometimes. But it can be hard, like I said, Leo rising, fixed body type, fixed sign. Like it takes a lot for me to change my body type. Once it changes, it can be hard to get it back there. So. What else does Leo need to know about their twin flame journey at this time? Outcome. Results, conclusion, ending, you will get a resolution. So that's saying that for those of you that feel like you're never going to know anything, or like you want to know something, you will get a conclusion or an ending or something to this. You will get your answers met. In this card, it's like, it's showing like a warm weather, summertime, almost looks like a spring. So it may not be this spring, it may be sometime, it could be I'm not even going to tell you what it could be. I'm just going to tell you that you will eventually get an outcome. What else does Leo need to know on their twin flame journey at this time? What else does Leo need to know on their twin flame journey at this time? Hidden path. Detour, slow down, explore, go in a new direction. So a lot of times that's what this, the stagnation and the reason that you have to wait for your answers and all that, that's why I say it's so much easier to surrender. Because once you do and you just live your life, it won't feel like it's so long. That's why it's talking about a detour and to slow down and explore and go in a different direction. Because it gives you more time to find yourself and become happy within yourself. And once you do that, you might get the conclusion, and by that time it wouldn't even matter anyway. Whether it's conclusion, whether it's an ending, it could be an ending of a cycle. It could be ending of the cycle I was talking about. But it does not mean that it's never going to happen. It just, but in reality, you should live your life like it's not going to happen, Live your life like, whatever happens, it is what it is. And in that way, you are free from it, because the codependent relationships and stuff that keep you trapped and keep you wondering and worrying, it ain't nothing but keeping yourself in a, self-fulfilled, prison. So it's not always the best thing to do that. You need to be free and do your own thing and learn, because you lived your life up until the point that you met them, and for most of you, I'm sure you were happy. And if you're like me, this thing, all it did was upset you and tear you down. And you rose above it, for some of you, or you will, when you realize. For me, it took many times of being just tortured and being let down continuously before I was able to just see it for what it was. And that's, like I said, a catalyst. So a lot of people believe that's all it is a catalyst. And because the journey is not always about finding the one. It's about becoming the one. You know, we're here to. It's almost like we're basically gods in training. You know, and so we're learning how to be just like that. You know, how to manifest and to be able to let go of the manifestation and let creation take over. And that's what it's about. You know, you're leaving it in God's hands. If you look at it like, you know, you're planting seeds and you're taking these seeds and you're throwing them in the womb of creation. You're letting go. You look at it this way. You're taking seeds that you have in your hand and you're basically placing them in God's hand and saying, take care of these. So it's just like with anything else that you manifest in life, you know, or any type of relationship or anything that you want, you know, how many things, you know, and just think about this to yourself. How many times have manifestations happened for you when you stop thinking about it or when you let it go? Or the same thing goes when you've always wanted a soulmate or you've always wanted a partner, and when you stop looking, it comes to you. That's the same principle as what I'm talking about. You're basically letting go and let God. You know, the more you try to control it and hold on, the more it's like you're not releasing it. You're holding on to it and you're afraid to let it go because you're afraid something else will come out of it or you won't get what you're supposed to. In reality, sometimes when you let it go, something better comes out of it, because with every ending there's a beginning, and with every beginning there's an ending. So it's just the way it works. It don't always make sense. I mean, it makes sense to me, and hopefully I was able to explain it to you, Leo. So, but anyway, Leo, that's pretty much what I have for you, and I hope this was helpful. Again, I appreciate your likes, shares, and subscribes, and hopefully you got something out of this. And I do wish you well on your twin flame journey. And stay tuned for later in the month, because I'm going to do some other readings. I don't know yet what they're going to be. But I hope you have a safe, happy, and rest of your June. And thanks for watching.